All right, I guess we're good. Sorry about the false start, guys, but after I started the stream, YouTube was like, "You need to confirm your identity," and then it wouldn't let me do it. So I guess we're good. Uh, just wanted to pop on, share a few things, personal message, and also just kind of a response to some things that I have been seeing happening that are kind of encouraging, I guess. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware that people have been burning down warehouses, shooting at cops when they come to evict them. Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail at Sam Altman, and I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I guess he made a statement about how maybe 4-day work weeks and like universal health care might actually be a good idea. So, I've talked a little bit in recent streams about how the public response has been disappointing, and it seems like maybe we're turning a corner there. So that's encouraging, and I definitely needed that today. One of the other reasons I decided to pop on is that I kind of feel like I owe some of you guys an explanation about my sort of erratic behavior over the last month or so. And what I'm referencing really is it felt like we had a tremendous amount of momentum. I was having a lot of insights and ideas and a lot of confirmation and validation, and we were really rallying in the round table, and people were coming together to work on stuff, and it's like I just kind of checked out all of a sudden. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Some of it is just stress. There's personal life stuff going on, and then also the fact that I kind of hit a wall. It's like I woke up one day and the ideas weren't coming, and it's just it's just kind of part of the thing, I guess, in my efforts at researching cognitive science and cognitive profiles and whatnot. I discovered that for neurodivergent people, especially my particular profile, it's actually kind of normal that we have these like spikes, and then it's just almost like a cognitive manic sort of thing. And that's only part of it. It's also really frustrating sometimes, I guess. The feeling that, like, going online and talking about consciousness and psychedelic experiences and whatnot in the face of all of the things that are going on in the world is just it sometimes feels just completely ridiculous. And the reality is that we need that kind of energy more than ever. But as the madhouse continues to escalate, and I also, it's like if I say the things I feel like I really need to say, I lose business, at a time when I really can't afford that. At the same time, I don't want to say anything if it's not what I feel like I need to say, and that has honestly been getting to me a little bit. I saw a video yesterday where this guy was talking about how society doesn't want truth, it wants comfort. And I understand that, and I have understood that for a long time, that, I say it all the time, he who speaks the truth has few friends or whatever. But then also knowing that the reality is that avoidance of truth is what is the result of that is the loss of all these comforts that people are trying to protect. You know what I mean? There's probably a really good word for this that's escaping me. But self-defeating is good enough, I guess, you know. I mean, it's just it's really maddening to watch all of this, especially after having spent an entire lifetime being aware of it, you know. So yeah, I mean, that's a big part of why I popped on, is just to try to kind of explain why so many streams have gotten rescheduled at the last minute lately. And you know, I watched one that I did the other day, and in the beginning I was so unfocused, and after editing it, you know, it's pretty solid. But man, the first like 30 minutes, I was kind of shocked. And that's what that is basically. It's a conflict. A lot of it is just like feeling really conflicted, you know, like what is the point anyways, you know. And then if I try to deviate from like the more confrontational aspect, the social commentary, that's really what I feel is necessary. But then the consequences for me of doing those type of streams, you know what I mean? Like it's just a weird spot to be in. And long story short, I am feeling a little bit better, and I'm really going to start trying to throw myself back into things and get the momentum going again, and try to be more involved in the community and whatnot. But for some reason, the last couple of weeks have just really rattled me. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are feeling the same way. That it's not just the uncertainty, you know, it's the unnecessary, the fact that all of this chaos is so unnecessary, you know. And I kind of choke on saying that because I understand the formula of the universe, you know, that we have to have the decoherence in order to reorganize and all of that. But it's just, I can't help but feel like we didn't need to let it go this far in the first place. And it on the one hand, it's great to see people fighting back, but it's kind of one of those situations where it seems like best case scenario and worst case scenario are still kind of bad. You know, people burning down warehouses and throwing Molotov cocktails at CEOs and stuff. On the one hand, that's progress, but on the other hand, it's taking us somewhere that none of us want to be. You know, and I think the increasing inevitability, or at least that's how I'm perceiving it, of a very uncomfortable transition, you know, that like the model that I've put all this effort and time into, it probably is necessary and valid, but I don't know that it's going to matter, you know, even if all of the academics and scientists that are relevant and necessary were just suddenly unify around the goal that I've been describing, right? Like whether we could implement that without an extended phase of like chaos and destruction and dissolution. You know what I mean? And I guess I don't know how well I'm articulating all of this right now, but just that's kind of it, the realization that even if the work that I'm doing is what I perceive it to be and what I hope that it is, probably not going to matter in the, medium term or whatever. And it's difficult because it really is this is something that I've put my entire life behind. And I don't know if I'm just being stubborn in trying to persist to see it through, and it's just completely a fool's errand at this point to like expect any kind of result or consequence of it, or if that tenacity is actually like appropriate. Let me check in with the chat and see if you guys, I know we had a couple of people that were maybe hanging in there. So yeah, at any rate, I'm not going to stay on too long right now. Tomorrow we'll do a round table and put our heads together and see what we come up with. And for my part, I'm trying to recalibrate a little bit. I mean, I get the feeling that I might have made Dr. Krippner a little bit regretful of his like a willingness to associate publicly because of some of the like abrasive criticisms of Christianity and what it's like I almost can't be honest and also function as like a brand, and that's fucked up because you could almost summarize the point that I'm trying to make as like you can't let the dollar dictate what you can say, what you can do. But then again, it's like over the years I'm learning the hard way that it does have that power, and I'm trying to mediate and walk the line. It's like when I talk about coherence and how it has to be absolute, that's true. I really believe that you cannot compromise, especially when the pressure, it like yielding to it, is conforming with exactly the thing that you're trying to destroy. It then again, burning warehouses, Molotov cocktails, it really does appear that at the ground floor level, things may actually be shifting to exactly the place that they need to. So I'm going to hedge my bet on that momentum as a source of hope that we are actually finding our trajectory just in the nick of time. So that's it for this little rant of mine. Like I said, I'll be more present, more consistent in the near future. I guess I just needed to take a deep breath, kind of compose myself again. And we don't have time to get winded right now, I guess is what I'm realizing. And along those lines, tomorrow I'll probably also do another secret stream from the Magical Revival book, because that stuff is all still important and extremely valid and relevant. Like I said, it's just been kind of hard for me to get my head into that space with all of these kind of worldly concerns, you know. One of the things that catalyzed this in addition was realizing that that's kind of why they do this, you know. The shaking of the ant farm is to keep us in that like a matrix level concern bubble. And I know that we can't allow them to succeed. So thank you guys again for your support. And I am going to pop on for a public stream at 9 o'clock. Speaking of psychedelics and everything, trying to take my head back in that direction tonight. So wish me luck. Chin up, you guys. Like, people seem to be doing it finally. So it's not exactly the modality that we would hope for, but everybody's got a role to play. So hopefully while we're playing our roles, other people will take care of the stuff that we don't want to participate in, but probably need